B2 capital G here, letting you guys know what the heck happened at YCS Niagara Falls in Ontario, Canada. Of course, I spent a good deal of my weekend checking up on the coverage so that you didn't have to. So for starters, I kind of feel like this event definitely went under the radar, despite the fact that this was going to be the first Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS where Soul Fusion was legal. I think that that was actually quite natural. I don't feel like that was any fault of Konami's. I feel like really when you were coming out of the 200th YCS, which was so hype and people spent so many resources and energy and time invested at that event and getting to that event where, you know, it was a YCS that was basically held in 3 different countries across 2 different, continents. And Konami had the stream set up where it was staggered to be almost 24 hours of straight Yu-Gi-Oh! With the attendance records that we broke in multiple regions. I feel like no matter what they did or what they attempted, no matter where they hosted it, it just wasn't going to be like, it wasn't going to be possible for it to, you know, live up to that type of a standard. And I think that it definitely showed with the attendance. YCS Niagara Falls was actually a fairly small event. I went to YCS Atlanta earlier this year, and I think it was about 1,100 players or 1,000 players or something like this. This was generally small for North American standards, about 754 players to be exact. However, despite the attendance, this event absolutely flipped the meta on its fucking head, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Usually when you see small events like this, you think of events that are probably just going to follow the diagram or just going to follow the pattern that's already been established in the meta. And people have to keep in mind that we've already had 3 major YCS events that were held in the new format with the new ban list, but obviously those events did not have Soul Fusion. First off, congratulations to young Gabriel Vargas. I believe that, yep, this is our North American WCQ winner. This guy is just racking up the trophies, and I mean, maybe we got to start calling him the Goki Master at this point. Shout out to Sam. I know that Sam will definitely have the deck profile on his channel. I'm talking about Sammy from Team Samurai X, but I know what you guys really want to talk about, and that is the 2 major storylines that came out of this event. And for starters, really, when you look at the top 32 breakdown, it was just absolutely bananas. We had 10 different decks in the top 32, and Thunder Dragons are just flexing on the meta. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how many times I saw people say, Cap G, you're overhyping Thunder Dragons. It's not going to be that good. Cap G, it's just a rogue deck at best. That was the big thing that people were saying in Zodiac Duelist. I want people to understand that not only are Thunder Dragons a tier 1 deck, they might actually be the best deck in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You can see that they had the largest representation in the top 32. Keep in mind, this is nothing like what we saw at the 200th YCS, where over those 3 events, Sky Strikers were something like 50% of the entire top cut. Now, you know, Thunder Dragons don't have anywhere near that type of hold on the meta, but you can see that they did have the biggest representation. And actually, let me go ahead and show you guys a graph, something that can, you know, visualize it a little better. You see Thunder Dragons with about, well, I guess it's in between a third and a quarter of the top cut. You see Goki just behind them. Obviously, Goki did extremely well at the North American or at YCS Columbus, the 200th. So we expected Goki to do well. Goki is actually what Gabriel used. He won the entire event. But then this is a shocker, maybe just as much of a shocker as Thunder Dragons having the most representation in the top cut. Danger variants took up damn near 20% of the top cut. That is absolutely insane. I've been talking up Danger Dark World since its inception, since we first learned about the cards. Once I first started seeing the combos, I was like, yeah, that's a fucking real deck right there. If you can draw your entire deck by turn 2, and you can extra link and you can have disruption like Firewall Dragon and Titanic Galaxy, obviously you can go places. But I never actually thought that we'd see this type of Danger build actually making it into the top cut, and I'll talk about that, which actually made it all the way to the finals. We see Sky Striker having a drastic drop off, and I'll also talk about why I believe that is and why I think that Thunder Dragons instantly surpassed Sky Striker as maybe the best deck in the meta. We see some of the old favorites, Pendulums, Trickstar variant, Paleozoic, which actually made it into the top 4, which was incredibly surprising. And then we also have, you know, my Altergeist, which Altergeist are just going to be a fairly consistent deck. I don't think you can really ever count Altergeist out. This is the top 4. And this is once again where I believe that Thunder Dragons proved that not only are they a meta deck, but maybe they are the best deck of the meta. You had four Thunder Dragons in the top 8. I'm not sure if I said top 4 there, but that is absolutely incredible for a deck to come pretty much right out the gate and already saying, hey, I think I'm the best deck. I'm going to win this damn event. And overwhelmingly in the top 8, it has as much representation as everything else. So I think that Thunder Dragons are here to stay. I'll talk about the impacts in the secondary market towards the later portions of this video, but let's talk about the other major takeaway from this event that isn't Thunder Dragons, and that is the Danger dominance. So Danger, despite only having 20% of the top cut, and it was actually multiple variants here. If you I believe, where is it? It might actually be here where we have the Danger breakdown, if I can actually find it. Okay, I was like, I'm trolling for a second. You can see that there were 2 Danger Burning Abyss variants, which is fine. It's a good way of being able to, you know, get Burning Abyss out of your hand without having to use their effects. You basically discard things like Graph and Seer, and they basically float. Skarm would be another example of that. But then you have the deck, or the variant that I like more, which is the Danger Dark World. And actually, this is just insane. We had a Danger Spiral deck, which I don't even know how that even works. Like, how do those 2 archetypes work in conjunction at all? Spirals are known as a deck that run a very, very low monster count relative to other decks like Thunder Dragons and, you know, some of the other ones like Goki. So I have no idea how that works. But let's talk about the Danger Dark World build, because as good as the Danger replays are that you guys see on my channel, this deck is a whole nother, it's just completely different from what I expect at this event. It's actually an FTK, and some people are saying, man, Cap G, this format is already ruined. You can see right here, this is essentially, and to really play the Danger like Dark World FTK as opposed to regular Danger Dark World, you only have to just kind of throw in things like Cannon Soldier, maybe a couple of other cards. But you see that basically the theory is get Cannon Soldier on the field. Obviously, special summoning is stupidly easy when you have Firewall Dragon. And then I used to point out, when Danger would combo off, you can kind of use Grapha infinitely, except now instead of using Grapha near infinitely to put into link materials, you're just actually launching it to Firewall Dragon, and then you're constantly special summoning one of your Dark World monsters like Snow or whatever from your hand, and then that Dark World monster constantly bounces. You launch for or Cannon Soldier, and all of these cards, like all of these you know, Cannon Soldiers and Amazoness Archer, Toon Cannon Soldier, which is obviously worse than Cannon Soldier because it's actually searchable by Toon Table of Contents. All of these cards are still completely legal in the TCG. It's actually quite shocking that it took so long for this deck to, or for a Firewall kind of Cannon Soldier FTK to actually make it this far. But I think when you combine the Danger cards, which are, you know, near infinite draw fodder, same thing with Dark World, and the fact that card destruction got unbanned, so all of these Danger decks, and they inherently got better. Some people are saying that it's a conspiracy theory. Konami wanted Danger to be competitive. That's why they unbanned card destruction now. And I feel like we're seeing some adverse effects. And actually, this was absolutely hilarious. This was posted on Reddit. This is basically a microcosm of what YCS Niagara Falls was. You got Cannon Soldier and Firewall Dragon on the field, and then he just shoots you a bunch of times, what, 16 times, and then GG no re. Yo, big shout outs to, I'm gonna try to nail this name, Raximus Yu-Gi-Oh! Animations. Search him on YouTube. If this guy does more videos like this, he might be the next great Yu-Gi tuber. But in all, I think that it's really interesting because I kind of feel like, if I can pull my graph up again, here we go. I kind of feel like because we saw an FTK get as far as second place, we might actually have a situation on our hands where maybe there's a possibility for the emergency ban list, or for an emergency ban list, I should say. You know, Konami has kind of ignored a lot of the effect burn cards like Cannon Soldier and Toon Cannon Soldier, etc. in the TCG, where they've been, you know, systematically taking them out in the OCG. And now that they've come to the forefront of the competitive meta, it'll be interesting to see if Konami goes ahead and addresses them, because I'll have a full video on that. Now I want to go back and I want to talk about Thunder Dragons. We all know what Goki does. A lot of people have shifted. I believe that Gabriel ran the dark version of Goki with Armageddon Knights because Armageddon Knight is a one card is sold. Obviously, it's like the win condition of the deck. But I want to talk about Thunder Dragons and why I believe that it instantly surpassed a deck like Sky Striker and why Sky Striker fell back, despite the fact that, you know, Sky Striker, not really much has changed from the 200th YCS, where the deck was absolutely dominant. And now this new player on the block just comes and instantly passes it. And I think that it has to do with, well, basically one major card that we do not have in the TCG, and that card is Max C. I think that so many people underestimated Thunder Dragons because we saw the deck come out immediately. And, you know, it was like tier 1 for a hot second in the OCG. But I think that people quickly adjusted and they saw that it kind of tapered back and it fell back to, you know, just another strong tier 2 deck at best in the OCG. And people thought, all right, it's just going to be a rogue deck. But people need to realize there is no Max C in the TCG. And obviously, Thunder Dragons get shit on by Max C because, you know, Thunder Dragons turn 1, they want to establish the field with their big boss monsters, Colossalus and Titan. But if your opponent Max C's you in the OCG, are you really trying to give them 6, 7, 8 cards just to do what your deck does best? Especially if you're playing a deck like Sky Striker, where if you get Max Seed, you really don't have to worry about it that much. That deck can just sit on a Kagari and just get a card back and basically just pass turn, knowing that that's going to float into Ray if it dies. The fact that Max Seed is not in the TCG format bodes extremely well for Thunder Dragons, and it actually hurts a deck like Sky Strikers because they would be able to use it against decks like Goki and Thunder Dragons that special summon a lot. But Sky Strikers don't really special summon all that much. Even if you have something like, you know, Hornet Drones where your opponent max seed you, you could still just go into a Kagari, your opponent gets a +1, and you still get to do everything that you want to do. A lot of other decks like Goki and Thunder Dragons don't really have the ability to stop. Also, I think the Thunder Dragon matchup against Sky Strikers is in the favor of Thunder Dragons because Colossalus is a bitch to deal with if you need to search a bunch. Like if you're playing Trick Stars, okay, you're going second against a Colossalus. All right, so no terraforming, no reincarnation, no Candina searches, and you really don't have any beaters to get over it. Yeah, have fun with that. Same thing goes with Sky Strikers. You're not going to be able to Rota. You're not going to be able to terraforming for your field spell if you run that. You're not going to be able to use Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage, literally the best card in your entire deck. So Colossalus is showing itself to be a serious problem for decks, even against Goki. If the Goki monsters want to activate from the graveyard and search other cards, they just don't have the ability. Even at first ISO search will get shut down by Thunder Dragon Colossalus, and I think you just start to realize that it's a top 3 boss monster just because it shuts down so many of the meta decks, whether that be Trickstar, which likes to search a ton, whether that be Sky Striker, which also likes to search a ton, or Goki. You know, they have ISO'd and they have their monsters when they go to the graveyard. All that searching is shut down. Thunder Dragon Colossalus is actually going up when it comes to the secondary market. You can see it was already over $70 on TCG Player, but now it's up to like $77, $78, and you need multiples of this card to basically run the Thunder Dragon deck. So Thunder Dragon is not a very budget-friendly deck, despite the fact that a lot of people thought before this set came out that it was going to be, you know, kind of a tier 2 super budget-friendly option. But Konami was like, nope, we're gonna make everything in this deck ultra rare and secret rare. We're gonna make it the push archetype of the entire set. We ain't worried about no Salaman Greats or any of that. Also, when it comes to Danger Nessie, Danger Bigfoot, these are cards to watch out for, because with the Danger Dark World FTK now proving that it's consistent enough to win a YCS championship, if Konami doesn't come out the gate and do something immediately to those burn cards, you might have these cards actually start going up. Even if Konami does hit the burn cards, I still feel like Dark World Danger is a very viable option, and it only got better because of things like card destruction. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think was the biggest takeaway of this event? Was it the huge meta shift that we saw? Was it Sky Strikers proving that they are nowhere near the best deck? Thunder Dragon dominance, you know, Goki still being a major player, top 2 deck in the game? Or is it the fact that we now have an FTK that is viable to deal with? Leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos and check out these other videos I know you'll enjoy.